We're talking hockey. Where's AQ Shipley talking hockey? Is Fleury gonna retire?
Great questions, pal. Hello and welcome to That's Hockey Talk. I am your host, Nick Brotto, joined by that beautiful voice you just heard, our pal of the pals, our northern friend at Bubba Gumpino. Gumpy, how you doing?
Hockey doesn't sleep, pal. We thought it was the off season. There is shit popping off.
I know. I was really looking forward to an early weekend here, but we got stuff to talk about.
We got to talk about.
We got to recap this free agency situation. A couple trades went down. Where's AQ? He's working. He's a busy guy. He's coaching for the Buccaneers now.
Oh, okay.
It's hard to pin down his schedule here. Training camp's going on. I don't know how much he's going to join us this coming season. He's got a whole new life now coaching. They're doing long hours over there. I don't know.
Hit the books, AQ.
I don't know if the big boy's ready for this.
Fucking books,
but
pal.
we'll get him on when we can, here and there. Until then, we'll have to do, and we said it last episode as we were going into the entry draft, and we recapped the Seattle roster and expansion draft. There were going to be more trades, and they were probably going to go down that evening and while we were doing the show, and they did. I think three broke like as we were recording, and we just weren't looking on Twitter, or like immediately after, as soon as we got done.
Yep.
So we'll start today. We'll go through all the trades that happened, and then we'll recap the signings. To start it off, one I think that kind of shocked people, but it got the ball rolling in the sense that like it doesn't seem so shocking anymore now that you see the plan. It was the Rangers jumping out, and they send Pavel Buchnevich, who was a very good multiple-time 20-goal scorer for them, Russian. Got some size, but he's not exactly physical.
Yep.
They send him to the Blues for Sammy Blais and a second-round pick. And Sammy Blais is a physical guy. He'll hit anything that moves. Remember him? He made his name for himself being a young guy on that Blues team that won the Cup. The Rangers decided, or should I say Tom Wilson decided for them. Then they fire their coach, they fire the GM, or the GM left, however you want to spin it.
Yeah.
Drury steps in. It's very obvious Drury was given a mandate, hey, make this team tougher, harder to play against. This does that. You know, you're going to miss a little bit of the offense Buchnevich gives, and then he signs a deal in St. Louis to extend him. So inevitably when they trade Tarasenko, he can kind of slide right in there and give them some goal scoring. One Russian for another. But the Rangers are, with this trade, Sammy Blais, physical, bottom six guy. He's going to hit people. Yep. They're going to be harder to play against. And this was not their first move in that. They went out today and got Ryan Reeves from Vegas for a third-round pick. Reevesy.
He's out of Vegas?
Yeah, he's going to the Rangers, okay? So now they added Sammy Blais, they added Ryan Reeves, and then, like I said, we'll get into the signings, but they signed Jared Tenorti, who's like fucking 6'8" on D.
So the Rangers basically just went on Twitter and listened to everything everybody was saying.
Well, I think people weren't really thrilled with giving up Buchnevich, but listen, you got a lot of young skill. They got a lot of young guys coming up that are going to get better offensively, and they're going to have that high-end offensive talent, especially if they get in on Eichel, who's still out there. That situation's unresolved. What they're doing is they're building their team to be tougher to play against, much more physical. This allows them to battle in the playoffs if they can make it there. And I think if these young guys keep getting better, the Lafrenières and the Kakos, I think the Capo Kakos, if they get there, this makes them a much better playoff team. And boy, it's incredible to look at all this and think it's all because of Tom Wilson, but it really is. It's all because of Tom Wilson slamming Panarin, and this is their answer. They're loading up on big guys.
But you find that mix of veterans and younger players, man. That is a beautiful thing in the NHL.
Yeah, and that's what you need. We heard multiple people talk about that, what a difference it makes. Your Canucks. I call them your Canucks. I know they're not your Canucks, but they're from your part of town. You know a lot about the Canucks. They pulled a move. They went out and they get Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Connor Garland from Arizona, and they give up Antoine Roussel, who's a physical, gritty guy. Jay Beagle, great bottom six player. Louis Eriksson, who's struggled recently but has been a proven goal scorer in the past. Give up a first, second, and seventh. Send it down to Vancouver. Free up some salary a little bit here, but they get Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who helps on their back end, which he kind of struggled last year. I think this is a good trade for both teams. You could see Arizona's kind of unloading and kicking the can down and starting to wheel over again on their rebuild. But Ekman-Larsson's a guy who I think people have mixed feelings on now. For a while, everyone thought he was going to be like stud number one defenseman. It seems like the analytics community is kind of out on him as being that guy, but we'll see if he gets up into Vancouver now. He's got Hughes around him. They got Nate Schmidt there now too. Like, things are looking a little more promising.
The Canucks were trying to get rid of that Louis Eriksson contract probably since a week after they signed it. That was probably one of the worst contracts of all time.
Yeah.
I mean,
and you hate to say it because Louis is a good guy, but he just broke down.
I loved Louis on the Stars. I was broke. I hated when we got rid of him, but I mean, sometimes you just run out of gas, my friend.
The big signing, another one, somewhat controversial. We knew it was going to be big. We didn't know how big. Seth Jones going to the Blackhawks and signing a mega extension. So the Blackhawks give up Adam Boquist, 2 first-round picks and a second-round pick. They get back Seth Jones. I think they get a first-round pick back, so it was really a flip.
Yep.
And then a 6th-round pick. And Seth Jones, they're viewing as the guy. Like, they give him a $9.5 million extension. They ship Duncan Keith out up to Edmonton. We talked about that. They bring Seth Jones, and he's their guy now. Like, they're going to look to him. They're going to load all the minutes on him, and he can play a ton of minutes. He eats minutes. He can play the hard minutes. Is he the elite puck-moving defenseman we thought he was going to be coming? Didn't turn into that in Columbus.
Can he be that horse?
Yeah.
When I think of a defenseman like that, and he's obviously, I mean, Shea Weber he's probably done.
Yeah.
But the way he was with Montreal, you know, that guy that could carry a team. I mean, he did it with Nashville all those years. Obviously, it wasn't as great for Montreal. But can Seth Jones do that? Because the Blackhawks need that guy.
Yeah.
And they've been missing that. And call me
And
crazy. I think the Blackhawks might turn this around.
They got a chance
quick.
to. They brought in some talent.
Yep.
They brought in the guys to make it say, like, to their fan base, hey, we're going for it.
Yep.
That window's still open for them, they think. I'm
Like,
not trying to
Taves
bash.
is back.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to bash Seth Jones.
No.
I think he had a lot of hype coming in because of his pedigree, where he was drafted. His family, his dad was an NBA player for like a stud player in the NBA for years. He just never really developed into like that high-end, two-way, offensively gifted defenseman, which he has abilities, but it's like maybe Columbus, maybe playing there held him back, but he's still going to be a top pairing guy in Chicago, and he's going to play all the hard minutes against the other team's best players.
You always start to worry about guys that keep getting traded too. Like this one was on him; he wanted to be.
Yeah.
But I mean, when Nashville traded him, like that was early in his career. It didn't make sense to me then. But I mean,
they were trying to get offensive help, and it was a situation where they were going to have to pay him, and Ryan Johansson didn't want to be in Columbus anymore. They need a center.
Columbus is fucking dead, dude.
Yeah.
They are there. What do they have? Like, you have to trade Patrick Laine now, don't you?
He just signed. He re-signed for 1 year for $7 million because he's a restricted free agent. I believe he'll be unrestricted next year.
Yeah. So what? You just could hold on to him as long as you can.
We said from day one when he got there that thing with him and Torts wasn't going to work out. But Torts is gone.
Yeah.
He walked away.
But who'd they get as their coach? And they just
Brad Larson. They brought up the HL guy. Maybe they make it work.
It works for the Canucks. That's where they got Travis Green from, and he's been good.
And maybe they make it work. And Laine's got all the motivation in the world to make this work because, hey, this is a contract year.
Yep.
Like, either they're going to trade you and you'll sign somewhere else, you'll hit free agency, you'll sign somewhere, or they give you the money. But like, this is on him. And Columbus is going to be not great. They stripping it down. They're stripping it down there.
Yeah.
They re-upped Rowinski to I think $9 million per. Their other stud D-man, who's a little bit more offensively gifted than Seth Jones, but I would be shocked if Laine signs there long term.
Yeah.
I think they'd be wise to try and move him and keep that process going and getting some younger, more talented players in there.
It's going to be one of those ones though. Like I was surprised Taylor Hall got what he got.
Yeah. We talked about that. You said you wanted to go short term.
I would have gone 2 years, 6 per. You're looking at 4 years, 6 per. I mean, I'm saying after about 2 years, Boston. I mean, now
the news comes out today. David Krejci is not going to re-sign with the Bruins. He's going back to the Czech Republic. He wants to play. He wants to be close to his family. He's walking away from the NHL. He's basically retiring from the NHL. He wants to go play overseas for Czech. Dude, he's old.
Is he that old?
He's like, I want to say maybe 37, 35 at least.
Hey, the Bruins.
He's 35.
The Bruins got a lot of question marks, man.
They do. And we'll get to some of their signings here in the moment. They're a team I'm thinking is going to make a trade at some point here throughout the summer and try and shake things up now because they lost some guys. And they bring back Taylor Hall, and that's great. But like now you're losing Krejci. Is Hall going to be as effective? We shall see. Some other trades we liked. Cam Atkinson going to the Flyers and Jakub Voracek going back to Columbus,
Yeah.
where he was originally a young player there. He was supposed to be one of the guys for their franchise. Ended up going to the Flyers early on in his career. I think, was that the Carter deal? I think that was the
Yeah.
Carter swap for
think
Jeff
you're right.
Carter. And now he's basically, looks like Voracek's going to finish out his career probably in Columbus. And we saw the Flyers doing a lot of moving and shaking here. They're retooling as well. Cam Atkinson's a good get for them. And he's excited. If you see him, like, he's on social media, like, he's fucking pumped
Yeah.
to be going to Philly.
Feels like everybody's excited when they get out of Columbus. Which is, I mean, they love their hockey though, man. I've been to that barn. Like, that place gets rocking. It's packed.
Well, again, this could be a whole new era for this franchise. Like, without Torts, like, being the guy and playing that maniacal style, and like coaching, like hands and everything, like they have a chance now to play a little bit more of an exciting brand of hockey.
Yep.
Maybe get some more eyeballs on him. Sam Reinhart goes from the Sabres to Florida. I think everyone thought he was going to move. I think everyone thought Eichel would move first, but Reinhart ends up going. That's going to help Florida out tremendously. They've done a nice job, like building that roster and rounding it out. They got Sam Bennett at the deadline last year. Now they get Reinhart. Coyotes pick up Anton Strawman. An old horse, but he can still give you a couple minutes out there. He can still play. What else we got? Brendan Dillon leaves the Caps, goes to the Jets for 2 second-round picks, and then the Caps actually get a second-round pick back from Seattle or send a second-round pick to Seattle for Vitek Vanacek and get him back. They lost him in the expansion draft. They get him back because of some of the signings Seattle made in free agency. We'll get to that in a second. That kind of shocked everybody. Nate Schmidt leaves the Canucks and goes to Winnipeg. I'm sorry, I said he was still in Vancouver earlier. He's over in the Peg now, which is good because I don't think he loved being in Vancouver. He came there from Vegas. Vegas kind of sent him there to clear some salary.
Tell you what, if you didn't like,
he was good in Vegas and with Washington.
You didn't like Vancouver. Good luck in Winnipeg.
Yeah, I don't think it was that he didn't like the city of Vancouver. I don't think he loved the situation he was in.
I wouldn't want to leave Vegas either.
And then Tampa Bay, listen, they heard it all. They heard everybody chirping, circumvent salary cap, 18 mil over the cap. Kucherov's wearing the shirt, 18 mil over the cap. They heard it. They don't care. They're doubling down
Run
even more.
it back.
They make a trade with Chicago for Brent Seabrook's contract. Seabrook was a stud defenseman for a long time in Chicago. He's done. He's not playing anymore. He's on LTIR, long-term injured reserve. I think he's making like 6.8 mil per year, something like that. That contract's going to the Lightning so that they can use it for long-term injured reserve to give them some more cap flexibility. They send Tyler Johnson the other way, which also kind of gives them some cap flexibility because they signed him to a long-term deal a while back. Remember when he burst on the scene, had a great first couple years in the league, kind of like fell down their lineup, not quite as effective as he used to be. And now he's gone to Chicago where he can play a little bit of a more important role with the Blackhawks.
Dedication to winning. That's what this is. That's what this is by Tampa Bay. They do not give a damn.
They're going to make it work.
Just win, baby.
They're going to make it work.
Absolutely. I love it.
They'll figure it out later. They're going to sign the guys to the contracts they need to sign, and they'll make the cap work. They'll figure out a way. I respect the hell out of it. Ethan Bear and Warren Fogle swap. Edmonton gets Ethan Bear. Edmonton loses Ethan Bear. They pick up Warren Fogle, who's a good physical forward from the Hurricanes. Evgeny Dadonov leaves the Senators, who had that good young offensive talent coming up. He's a guy who can score, doesn't really do much else, doesn't play a whole lot of defense, but he goes to Vegas. He gives them some more firepower. And Vegas sends Nick Holden up to Ottawa, who's a good veteran D at this point, who can help them out with some of their young players. Will Butcher leaves the Devils and goes to the Sabres. Why is that? Why did the Devils let go Will Butcher? Well, because they signed Dougie Hamilton in free agency. The $9 million a year. He was the guy. Everyone's like, "Where's Dougie gonna go? Is it gonna be Chicago? Is he gonna go to Seattle?" Nope. Goes to New Jersey. They're building something nice there on the back end of New Jersey.
Yeah.
And Dougie's gonna be the centerpiece to it. And they'll probably try and move PK Subban either at some point before the season, or I think he only has a few 1 or 2 more years left on his deal. So they'll
Is that the contract he signed with
Montreal? And that's a big one.
Yeah.
And so he'll be off the books, and they basically replace it with Dougie Hamilton, who is going to give you a lot more years, a lot of minutes, and a lot of points. He's a stud at both ends of the ice. The Bruins send Dan Vladar, the promising young goaltender, over to Calgary for a 3rd-round pick. We talked about Vitek Vanacek, Ryan Reeves, and we're all caught up on trades. Let's go into the signings now. I don't know if we expected it to be this busy or this kind of money to get thrown around because of the flat cap.
Yeah.
I think we knew there was going to be some decent movement, but I don't think we knew how much. Like, as soon as it hit noon on free agency day, it was like boom, 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 boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, shit was moving. And even before that, like, shit was popping off before that. You can't agree to terms until noon, or you can't sign anything until noon, I should say. You can agree to terms
Yeah.
before then. But so we'll go through here really team by team and just say like what we liked, what we didn't like, some notable signings. Getzlaff, we thought he might bounce around. Apparently there was interest from all kinds of teams. There was interest for I think Nashville was interested in Getzey. I think Vegas had some interest. I think
definitely.
Toronto might have sniffed around on him. He was a guy I thought Pittsburgh should have been interested in. Allegedly, the Rangers were interested. He goes back to Anaheim 1 year, $4.5 million. He don't want to leave California.
Yeah, he said it at the trade deadline.
You don't wanna
I
leave.
mean, this guy, he'll finish his career in Anaheim. He's got his cups. He's good.
We talked about Arizona kind of reloading, retooling. They signed Ryan Dzingel 1 year, one point. That's a nice little depth forward pickup for them. He flies around out there. The Bruins are pretty active considering what the turnover they've had to do, and I think they surprised some people. They signed Linus Ullmark,
Yep.
the goaltender from the Sabres, 4 years, $5 million per. That's a big deal. That's
Five per?
$5 per. That's starter money. So what's going to happen with Tuukka Rask? Well, turns out Tuukka Rask has that hip injury that kind of hampered him in the playoffs. He's going to have some type of operation, get that fixed. They don't know if he's going to be ready to start the season, and they don't know if he's going to want to keep playing.
Yeah.
Like, Tuukka's kind of up in the air right now, so he's still out there. He could sign somewhere else. He could sign back with the Bruins and get. But I think it was just. I think it was time to turn the page on the goaltender situation. So there was a big goaltender carousel. A lot of goalies moved and switched spots. The Bruins end up with Ullmark. They also pick up Thomas Nosek. They pick up Eric Holla, who's going to fly around and hit some people, and they get Nick Foligno, which I
love Nick Foligno.
I know, but a little long in the tooth, and I don't know if now. Granted, it's not a lot of money. It's 2 years, 3.8 per, but like, did he do anything with the Leafs?
I thought he was a great pickup for the Leafs.
We thought he was going to be, but
I thought he was that piece that would kind of get him over the hump. But
score one
obviously
for the analytics crowd, because they were like, they called it a bad deal from the beginning when Dubas gave up that first round to Columbus for them, and he didn't do shit in the playoffs. Man, they had that fight with Corey Perry, and it was like, should you even be fighting him after the Tavares hit? It was like, oh boy, I don't know. But he's going to Boston now, and hey, good luck.
Might be a good fit there.
Good luck replacing David Krejci with Nick Foligno. I know it's center winger, but like,
Yep.
I don't know. The Sabres look like they're fielding an AHL team.
What are they going to do with Eichel?
I don't know. Vegas is allegedly in the mix. The Rangers are apparently still in the
But
mix.
like, if he's not traded by the start of the year,
He's going to be traded by the start.
Yeah.
There's no way. They're waiting for the right return.
Yeah.
Kevin Adams, the GM there, is staying patient, but there's no way they start the season. Eichel's already pissed he hasn't been traded. There's no way they start or go into camp with him still on the roster.
Yeah.
They'll figure that move out. It just probably the moon. Like they want everything, right? They want a big return because that's a big time player. But I don't know if they're we talked
you're
about
not
this.
going to get it, dude.
We talked about this in a while. Yeah, we don't know if.
And everybody knows
if
you
they can
want
get it.
rid of somebody. That's just not how it works.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
I think you do got your best shot though from the Rangers of overpaying for him.
Yeah, Rangers
I think
will
Vegas
do that.
Vegas still has, even though they did what they did with Fleury and everything, they're still kind of
Are they still strapped?
because they signed Martinez. So they let Fleury go, but they signed Martinez. We didn't talk about the trade for Fleury. That kind of shocked everyone.
Yeah.
I think everyone thought Fleury or Leonard, something's going to happen. I don't think anyone thought Fleury going to Chicago was the move. I think everyone thought they might trade Fleury back to Pittsburgh. I know I thought that was a realistic option because apparently last year Jim Rutherford tried to get Fleury from Vegas. Bill Foley, the team owner in Vegas, vetoed the trade. Said, nah, we're keeping him. Then this season happens. Vegas goes on the run. They get knocked out. They do the exit meetings. They tell Flower, hey, look, we're going to get this figured out. We don't know exactly how it's going to shake out yet, but we got you. We got Robin. Robin signed long-term. You got 1 more year at $7 million. Something's going to have to happen. Okay. We'll keep you posted. We'll figure it out together. They didn't.
No.
They didn't tell
They
him.
didn't give a
They
damn.
didn't talk to him. They shipped him off to Chicago for a ECHL player who is not going to play in the NHL. This is basically a salary dump. They just wanted to get Fleury's salary off the books. He was blindsided. He still hasn't decided if he wants to play in Chicago or not yet. He's a family guy. He's got his wife and 3 kids.
Yep.
Said he doesn't want to uproot them and move them to a city he doesn't know anything about. I think he's going to play there because he's ultimately like the nicest guy on the planet.
Yeah.
So I don't think he's one to raise a stink. But his agent is Alan Walsh, and he might, because you've seen,
that
you
guy
know
does
Alan
not
Walsh, you
give
know
a
how he
damn,
operates.
dude.
He'll motherfuck anybody.
Yep.
So I think Fleury will ultimately report to the Blackhawks.
He'll play this year, and then
I
you
think
he'll
so.
call it.
And then his contract's up, and then I don't think he's done,
Or you
man.
think he'll go play somewhere else?
I think he might. I think he has a few more years in him, and then maybe that's when he tries to come back to Pittsburgh. But I think everybody thought, okay, he could hold out from it, and he could tell Chicago he doesn't want to play for them, and the Penguins could trade for him. But the Pens are tight against the cap now too, so
Yeah.
Chicago would have to retain salary. I don't think they want to do that. I think they want Fleury.
Yeah.
I think they want him to be their guy.
Absolutely.
And they got Lankinen there as well. So I think they want that combination of Fleury and Lankinen to go into the season. We'll see. I think Fleury's going to show up, though. I think he's going to play ultimately. I think it's just a little bit of a tactic here at first because it sounded like Fleury would have went to Pittsburgh by all reports that I'm reading.
Yeah.
But, it's business. It's a
like-
business. You don't always
yeah.
get what you want.
Fortunately, it's just not a fairy tale. I mean, it still feels like he will finish his career in Pittsburgh.
Just feels like it has to happen,
But
right?
the only thing that makes me think that won't happen now is because it's, Burke and Hextall in there. They don't give a damn about the past at this point. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? That is probably the only reason why I don't think it happened this offseason.
Yeah, we'll get to the Penguins in a little bit. I have some thoughts on what they've done in free agency. Calgary Flames, they pick up Blake Coleman from Tampa, 6 years, $4.9 million. That's a lot of money for that guy and what he does. But Flames, for underperform, like, what's going on? They got some guys. They got some pieces.
Spend, man. They always spend. Like,
They got some guys.
Look what they gave Markstrom last year, dude.
I know.
It's absurd.
Carolina's next on the list. Hey, the Hurricanes went cheap. They went,
no
They went budget
surprise
rent-a-car, dude.
Yeah.
They're and I think Enterprise is the official sponsor of the NHL. They said, "Fuck that, we're going budget. Like,
Yeah.
give us the economy class."
Yeah, we're good.
They did bring back Jordan Martinook, which I think was surprising. I think people thought he was gone. 3 years, 1.8 mil. They bring in Josh Levo and 1 year, $750K. Ian Cole, I liked former Penguin.
Yep.
Tough, gritty guy, can move the puck on a 1 year, $2.9 million deal. Anthony D'Angelo was surprising and shocking. He was the guy the Rangers were trying to unload for all the discipline problems and mouthing off on social media, getting all political, and then getting in a fight with his own goalie, leaving the ice. And that was shocking to me, that because the Canes always seemed like such a family-oriented team.
Exactly.
Like, the locker room seems so good, and then they bring in a guy like that. It's interesting to see how that works out. And then they go for another Leafs retread here, Frederik Andersen in goal. They had Reimer last year. No longer. They let Reimer go. They let Mrazek go. They traded Ned. Now they bring in Freddie Andersen and Antti Ranta at 2 years, $2 million per. Do you think that goaltending situation is going to work out for Carolina? I'm kind of surprised.
Yeah, I don't think. Frederik Andersen has tried to be the guy. I just don't think he is.
I think he's a fine regular season goaltender.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to get you very far in the
No.
playoffs. We talked about the Blackhawks and what they've done. No real impact signings outside of Seth Jones. They pick up Jake McCabe, so they get another defenseman to throw into that mix. But
I thought they were going to get
Fleury.
I thought they were going to get Dougie too.
Yeah, but I think once they got Seth Jones, it was like, okay, we can't really.
Can't pay both.
But the good thing is they didn't have to give up any young forwards really on their roster, any of those talented guys to get Seth Jones.
Yep.
Colorado, what were they doing?
It feels like they're in a spot to just run it back with exactly what they have.
I'm gonna say this. Well, they can't now because they lose Brandon Saad.
Yeah.
They lose Grubauer, which was wild to me. They signed Landeskog to the big deal.
Yep.
I think it was down to the last minute. I think everyone thought he was gone. I think they probably should have just let him go.
You think?
You got McKinnon. You got Rantanen. You could have kept Saad at a lower value and then maybe added another piece or two in free agency.
Yeah.
I just don't know if Landeskog's I understand he's the captain. He's been there a while, but he's not like a 40-goal scorer. He's got some grit. He was fighting. I don't know. I just think maybe it was time to to try a different dynamic with that core.
You're
You're gonna have to pay Cale McCarson.
You start to worry about McKinnon too, because his comments when they got knocked out, like if this goes sideways this year, I mean, I don't think they can play any better in the regular season.
And the picture that was starting to get painted was that Landeskog didn't like the team, whether that be the coach or the front office, or I don't think it was a locker room problem. I think it was an organizational problem.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they brought him back. And at the money, I just thought I thought this was a situation where they would benefit from moving on and kind of keeping that roster deep.
Yep.
It's not the same team. I'm not saying they're not going to be bad. They're still going to compete for a playoff spot. I just don't know if they're going to run away with the division. Especially when you lose Grubauer. They make the trade and they get Darcy Kemper from Arizona, and Kemper's a fine goalie. But if Grubauer didn't get you there, I don't think Kemper's doing it.
Yeah. No.
They signed Darren Helm, was their biggest signing, basically. 1 year, $1 million, who was a good player back in the day for Detroit, but he's kind of battled injuries throughout his career.
1 mil.
Yeah.
Big spenders.
We talked about Zach Werenski re-signing in Columbus. They got Line re-upped. Boone Jenner, 4 years at $3.75 million. I like that a lot. That's a guy.
That's good value.
That's a competitive son of a bitch, and he plays hard, and he'll fucking put his stick through your teeth to win a game. Sean Corrali, 4 years, 2.5. They pick up from Boston. I mean, that feels like an overpay, but it's free agency. So, your stars, pal. Let's talk about your stars. Ryan Suter, did you see that one coming? I think that was kind of out of left field.
Yeah,
I think people thought he was going to the Islanders.
I did not see them spending money like that at all.
Good for Ryan Suter. Already made over $100 million in his career, and now he picks up 4 years, 3.65 per to go back to start. But it's good because they re-signed Miro Heiskanen for that big deal. I think it was, 8 point something per year for 8 years. Suter's a great guy to be able to play with him and Klingberg and the young guys they got there and kind of hold it down for them. They pick up Braden Holtby on value after getting bought out.
Do they still have Bishop too?
Still have Bishop. Still got Hudobin. And they pick up Braden Holtby as well.
I mean, somebody's got to go, don't they? God damn,
I do think they'll be making a move. Maybe, you talked about Bishop being an option for the Penguins, maybe because it seems like Hextall didn't sign a goalie, right? So
there's you have to have somebody behind Jari.
Word
has to be a vet.
You read the Pittsburgh beat reporters and what they're saying. They think it's going to be a trade situation where Hextall's going to explore the trade market. Dallas right now looks like a viable candidate, whether it be Hudobin or Bishop as a possible solution. We'll see. The Red Wings. Not much really to talk about there in terms of free agent signing. But we liked what they did with Ned.
Yeah.
We liked the way their roster's turning out. Stevie Y, we're not doubting them.
Wheeling, dealing.
Yeah. I like Nick Leddy. I think he can still play. I think he's going to help out in Detroit big time. The Oilers getting Zach Hyman. 7 years, $5.5 million. They couldn't work out the trade to get him early to sign for the 8th year from Toronto, but they signed him in free agency. I don't think it's bad. I think it's a good deal.
Nah. Not bad at all.
He took a little while to develop, but he can play with good players. He played with McDavid, or he played with Marner and Matthews in Toronto. He'll probably play with McDavid or Draisaitl in Edmonton. He can go to the dirty areas. He can sit in front of the net. He can dig pucks out for you. I think it'll work out well for them.
The Leafs got to make a move, right?
Yeah, they probably got some retooling to do, but
are they going to trade Marner? Is that an option?
I thought they were going to trade Willie Nylander last year, but he ended up being one of their best players in the playoffs. And now Marner, this whole thing with him not performing in the playoffs, he seems like the odd man out at this point. But I don't know. I don't think they're going to move any of them yet.
We talked about it before, but Marner Eichel just seems like
it could
restart for both.
Then the situation with that is, can you move Matthews or Tavares to wing?
Yeah.
Because then you're going to have the overload at center. Edmonton also picks up your boy, Tyson Barrie, 3 years, $4.5 million. Good, solid signing. Yeah. I think he played well for them. And then they pick up Cody Ceci from the Penguins. I think this shocked everybody.
Ceci.
4 years, $3.25 million. I like Ceci too.
Not for that.
Good guy,
That's
good player.
Yeah.
The way he was used in Pittsburgh kind of helped him rebound his career a little bit. He was getting third pairing minutes and he was getting offensive zone starts and he wasn't asked to play the tough minutes. I like him. I like what he was able to do. I think that contract might be tough for him to live up to, and it's not even a lot. Like they're not breaking the bank for him, but that's a middle pairing contract for a guy that I don't know if he's going to be able to excel in that role. let's see, jumping down the list here, what else jumps out to us? The Kings signing Philip Deneau, 6 years, $5.5 million. We said the Habs probably weren't going to bring him back, but I think that's a good fit in LA where they're trying to figure out, like, hey, we got all these young guys. Now you get Kopitar and Deneau, two good veteran centers who can kind of show those young guys the way. Deneau's, I think, known more for his defense than his offense, but it'll be a good role model for the young
Quick
kids.
staying with the LA.
That's another guy who I think Pittsburgh might have to be interested in just because
How old is
LA would
Quick
give him
now?
up. Boy, I think he's 35 as well.
He's 35. God.
And we know Cal Peterson's the guy there, so Quick is right now the backup, and they would probably like to get out from that contract. They pick up Alex Edler, the longtime Canuck, finally leaves 1 year, $3.5 million. I think that's a good veteran signing right there.
I like Edler. Always have.
The Wild pick up Alex Goligoski, 1 year, $5 million. I like that move as well. Also pick up Kulikov, 2 years, $2.25. Just kind of revamping their back end a little bit since they lose Suter. Didn't know what was going to happen with Dumbo. We're able to keep him. So I like, and they pick up Freddie Gaudreau, who had a good little playoff and finished the season strong for Pittsburgh in a fourth line role. They weren't able to unite the Foligno brothers. They were trying to get Nick to come to play with Marcus. Didn't work out, but I think that's a blessing in disguise for Minnesota. The Habs, the Montreal Canadiens, who made it to the Stanley Cup final. It's been an interesting offseason for them. They make that draft pick of that kid. I'm not even going to get into it.
Nah.
They're getting hammered for that. Questionable decision at best. They signed Mike Hoffman, though. 3 years, $4.5 million. He's a pure sniper. He can score some goals. He's not going to play great two-way hockey, but he can score. Power play specialist. Cedric Paquette, former Cup winner. That's good. David Savard, 4 years, $3.5 million. I don't think they overpaid. He can kind of give you a little bit of that Shea Weber sandpaper jam grit on the back end. He can't move the puck like Shea could, but he can bang. Matthew Perreault, I like. 1 year, $950K, low risk signing. Good kid. He had the Habs jersey up in the background of his room during the little Zoom conference. He was excited to be there. He's a veteran at this point now, and he can still score some goals. I think that's a great value pickup.
There was talks of them making a move for Eichel, but
They're in on Eichel as well, allegedly.
but I guess they wanted Cole Caulfield
Yeah, can't do that.
and Suzuki.
Can't. Whoa. Can't do that.
Yeah,
Maybe one of those
I don't
guys.
think I would give up either.
Yeah,
There's so much potential there, man. And I know I get it. Eichel probably has potential too, but I like those kids.
I think it's a situation where Montreal's been without a number one center for a long time as well.
Yeah.
They're looking at that, seeing Eichel out there, like, maybe. Nashville, Michael Granlund, 4 years, $5 million. We talked about Dougie Hamilton in New Jersey. They signed Bernier as well. The Islanders haven't really done much of anything. They're bringing Paul Mary back, but I don't know if it was ever officially announced term and money or anything. There was Parise was supposed to be going there. I don't think that was ever announced. I know they were going to be in on Landeskog, but he didn't get there.
Yeah.
Maybe a trade situation. Maybe they're in on Tarasenko and they're trying to work deal here. Maybe that's why they're quiet in the free agency market. Casey Cizikas, we thought he was a slam dunk to come back to them. He's still out there.
Yeah.
Interesting, Lou playing this one close to the vest. Real quiet, Lou. We talked about the Rangers and the retooling that they've done. Ottawa didn't go out there and do anything crazy. They lock up Del Zotto, 2 years, $2 million. The Flyers made some changes.
Lots of moves. I think they needed to, though. I think this is, everything they've done is positive in my mind.
So Brian Elliott ends up going to Tampa Bay. So Carhartt's still a starter, but they bring in Martin Jones at 1 year, $2 million behind him. I think that's good. Jones struggled and was very bad the last couple of years in San Jose.
Yeah.
But you remember when he first got there,
Unbelievable.
They went to the Cup final. I think he can be good in a backup role, and they've retooled the defense now. They got Keith Yandel, 1 year, $900K. That's great value for what he can bring. Can run the power play too. They got Provorov. Now they got Yandel. They got good options on the back end for moving the puck. Nate Thompson's a guy who can give you some jump on the fourth line, 1 year, $800K. They didn't break the bank for anybody. Like I said, I think they're in a good spot going forward compared to where they were.
Exactly.
Pittsburgh. Let's talk about the Penguins. My Penguins. I think people were expecting more. I know I was, and maybe I shouldn't have been. I think Hextall was brought in to do a job of retooling the organization with assets and not bleeding them dry of prospects anymore.
Yep.
They had limited cap space to work with, but I think everyone realized, okay, they're losing Tanev, they're losing McCann, they got like $7 million cap space, which is more than people thought they were going to have. They can move one of these defensemen, either Pettersson or Matheson, and gain almost 10, 11 million cap space. You can make some real moves with that. They didn't really ever jump into the mix, or at least if they did, it wasn't publicly out there.
Yeah.
They pick up Brock McGinn for 4 years, 2.75 mil, who was basically Tanev light. He's not as physical, but he's physical. He's not as fast, but he's fast. By all accounts, everyone in Pittsburgh is going to love him. Carolina loved him. Good, honest player. Good two-way player. Doesn't score a lot. Doesn't have the finish, but he's in and around the play, making plays, right? He's not a playmaker, but he's causing things to happen. He's going to the front of the net. He's battling on the boards. I think he'll be a good player. It's just, okay, you lose Tanev because you want to get his contract off the books because he's older. I guess McGinn is a little bit younger, so that helps, only slightly cheaper. So we think of him as like Tanev's replacement. I get it, but I think once you cleared out that money, Hextall and Burke come in, you think they're going to be going big. The goal supposedly was to get bigger, stronger, harder to play against. I don't know if Brock McGinn necessarily accomplishes that. But we'll see. I'm trying to stay optimistic and give Hextall some time here and be patient. They bring back Evan Rodriguez, 1 year, $1 million. Fine, right? Versatile guy. He can play on the first line. He can play on the fourth line for a couple games. He can jump up and down. It's fine. Whatever. He can fly. Maybe score you some goals. This one, dude. You hear me, dude? I'm sick of it. Dominic Simone. I hate this fucking guy. They bring him back. They were trying. Mike Sullivan was shoehorning this guy on Crosby's line because Sid likes him. So happy once he finally left. He goes to Calgary, plays 11 games there. No points. 0 points in 11 games in Calgary. He can't even get a puck to bounce off his ass and into the net, or on a teammate's stick and them to put one in the net.
Run it back.
Now he's back. Now, granted, it's a two-way deal. It's $750,000. It's nothing. But I just know at some point, come like November or December, I'm gonna go home, sit on my couch, excited to watch a Penguin game, and fucking Dom Simone's gonna be riding shotgun with Crosby again, and I'm gonna vomit in my mouth. I'm gonna be so disgusted.
Fucking Sniper Simone, dude.
I hate this guy.
Back to save the city.
The one signing that they did make that seems to be going over well is Danton Heinen. 1 year, $1.1 million. He's a guy. He can move fast. He can throw some hits. He's got a little bit of size to him, and he can score. So they didn't break the bank for anybody. They didn't give us the big shocking changes we thought might come. They didn't go crazy. But losing McCann and Tanev hurts when you replace them with Heinen and McGinn.
Absolutely.
That's all I'll say about it. I'm trying to stay patient, though. There's still time. They didn't do anything in goal yet. We'll see what happens with the goalie situation. If they go into camp, Hextall said, as of now, Jari and DeSmith should be ready to go for next year. But if they go into the season with those two as the solution in goal, you can't have it. You got to make
back with the exact same shit.
If they're there and someone else is there as well,
you need another guy.
Okay.
It has to.
But if it's just those two and nothing else was done,
you need
I've been calling this offseason a failure because when you have a situation where Brandon Saad was available for the money that he signed for, where Fleury was available, and where John Gibson is reportedly available from Anaheim, all three of those guys have Pittsburgh connections. In my mind, if you don't get at least one of them going into next season, you've already struck out on Saad. I think it's a failure. So
you need a veteran. You have to have a veteran with Jari. You have to, man.
Speaking of veterans, the Sharks signed Nick Bonino, 2 years, 2.5. I think it's a good deal.
Bonino's still going?
Still going. Good value.
Loved Bonino on the
He was
Stars,
awesome.
dude.
Cogliano, 1 year, $1 million. James Reimer, 2.25. I mean, the Sharks are in a bad spot right now, so what can you say? The Kraken, I think, surprising people. They get Jaden Schwartz from the Blues, 5 years, $5 million. Thought that was solid. Wenberg, 3 years, 4.5. I didn't love that, but they needed some center depth. And Grubauer, this shocked everybody, I think. 6 years, $5.9 million. I think Ron Francis said we didn't expect a guy like Grubauer to be out there. I'm pretty sure everyone thought they had their goalies locked up with Drieger and Vanacek from the expansion draft. Grubauer goes out there. They pay him the big money. He's going to Seattle. Colorado left blowing in the wind, but we'll see.
How much money are they spending on goalies?
At this point, you got $6 million tied up in Grubauer and $3.5 million tied up in Drieger. So not more than any other team with a good number one.
Yeah.
And I'll call Drieger 1B at this point.
Yeah.
Just because of the season he had last year. I don't know if he'll be able to repeat that, but I mean, they got space though, so why not?
I mean, they didn't spend it on anybody else, that's for sure.
The Blues didn't really do much day one. Then day two, they come out and they get Brandon Saad, who we talked about, 4 years, $4.5 million. I think that's a good deal. Saad's a little bit older now. I think he's 30. He's not going to, like, the last year of that deal might end up looking pretty bad. But, like, I think for the next year or two, especially if they're going to lose Tarasenko,
Yeah. Had to do it.
I think it's great.
Absolutely.
I think it's great. The Lightning, Cup champs. They signed Braden Point. They had to get that done. They get it done. 8 years, $9.5 million. That's a lot of money. Great player, though. Great player. Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. Love this guy.
Yep.
He was in Philly, goes to Vegas. Just a great fourth liner, third liner in a pinch. Love what he can do. Great penalty killer. Zach Bogosian, they bring back. He went to the Leafs after playing with Toronto, or after playing with Tampa, winning the Cup with them. He goes to the Leafs. Comes back now. 3 years, $850K per year. No big deal.
Nah.
Great third pairing for them. They pick up Brian Elliott to back up Vasilevsky, 1 year, $900K, like that.
Say it. Say it. Say what they did.
He couldn't beat him, so he joined him. Corey Perry, 2 years, $1 million per. I love it.
They're guaranteed.
What a great
they're
get.
guaranteed to at least get to the cup again.
But are they going to lose? Or have they destined themselves to lose the next two Stanley Cup Finals? It's hard enough to repeat. Can they go 3 for 3? Who knows? But Corey Perry's giving them a fighter's chance to get there.
When Corey Perry calls it quits, just fucking let him skate off the ice right into the Hall of Fame.
You want the Lemieux
What
treatment
a
for Corey
fucking
Perry.
career this guy has had, man. Like, he's just a proven winner, dude. He's fucking gives it his all. It's beautiful.
How can you not like the guy when he's on your team?
Yeah. He was unreal for this. People thought he was dead when the Stars signed him.
Yeah.
Then he ran it back with Montreal. He'll do it again with Tampa, surrounded by great players. I mean,
The Leafs pick up Peter Mrazek in goal, 3 years, $3.8 million. I mean, I like Mrazek. I like him. He can stop some pucks.
the Leafs.
I don't think he's taking to the Cup final, but
Yeah, the Leafs just. I think I don't see the Leafs being better.
So there was a report out there that Dubas was holding like $3.5 million or so. Did you see this? He was holding a little bit of cash in anticipation of either a signing, either later down the road, or maybe potentially trade.
Yeah.
So I think they're up to something. I don't know what it is, but I think
You have to.
or
Yeah.
they're just floating that out there because they kind of disappointed in free agency.
Yeah,
But
I
I mean,
think
hey, they
you-
got those deals. They got those forwards signed to
Yeah.
a lot of money.
Exactly.
So the Canucks, I think, did more than anybody, and I don't know if it was necessarily good, but they did a lot.
Yeah, a lot
Brandon
of it.
Sutter,
Yep.
back 1 year, $1 million. Travis Hamonic back 2 years, $3 million.
Who do they have in net now? If Holtby's gone.
Halak, they picked up Halak at 1
They
year,
gave
$1.5
him-
million.
Oh, they only gave him 1.5.
$1.5 million plus $1.5 in performance bonuses.
So they got Halak and who?
Boy, you put me on the spot. I thought it was it's Demko, Thatcher Demko.
Demko's the guy.
Yeah.
He's got to be.
They pick up Luke Shen, 2 years, $850K. Tucker Pullman, 4 years, $2.5 million. Tucker Pullman was getting eviscerated online. I don't think he deserved all the things that were said about him. You know, if someone offers you to pay you that kind of money, you're going to take it.
This is what Canucks fans do. Remember when Luongo signed his contract?
Yep.
Everyone got pissed off at Luongo.
Yep.
Listen up. Someone hands you a piece of paper offering you that much money, you sign it.
Where do I sign, sir?
Well,
Thank you.
Actually, take like 10 million off that. I won't need that. Beat it, dude.
And finally, we're wrapping it up here. The Winnipeg Jets, they brought back Stastny. They didn't really do a whole lot else in terms of free agency. The Capitals didn't do a lot in terms of free agency. Oh, wait, they re-signed Alex Ovechkin.
What did he get?
9 some.
For how many years?
Let me look it up exactly.
Is it 5 years?
I feel embarrassed that I don't know this off the top of my head. No, it was basically just a pretty much perfect extension of what he already was doing just for a couple more years. 5 year, $47.5 million.
Atta baby, Ovi.
He's going to break. that goal record.
He is. That's
He's gonna break
literally what he said.
That Gretzky goal.
That's literally
He's gonna
what
break
he said.
it. $9.5 million stays the same per year.
Yeah.
We all knew it was going to happen. It was just a matter of when.
Yeah.
They did the smart thing. They waited till after the expansion draft so they could protect another player. They get their captain back. Vegas Golden Knights re-signed Matthias Janmark, who they got at the deadline. Re-up Patrick Brown for 2 more years. Re-up Alec Martinez on the back end for 3 years, $5.5 million. And they bring in Laurent Brossoit, excuse me. There's no N. Who I believe was with Winnipeg as the backup last year, who will now back up Robin Lehner in Vegas. And that, my friends,
No controversy there.
is a recap of what has gone down so far in the NHL's silly season and our thoughts on it. We hope you enjoyed it. If you don't agree with us,
It's a damn shame.
people aren't meant to agree.
No.
Let us know what you think. Let us know if you thought your team got better. Let us know if you thought your team got worse. Let us know how you feel heading into next season. Let us know where you think Jack Eichel is going to go, what's going to happen with that. Tweet at us, at Bubba Gumpino, at Nick Peralta, at That's Hockey Talk. Check us out on YouTube at youtube.com/That's Hockey Talk. Appreciate Bill and Jay and Mitt back there sticking around, helping us knock this out.
Thank you, boys.
Probably the last episode we'll do for a while until the season starts to kick back up.
Or Eichel gets traded.
Yeah, maybe we'll do
Eichel
something for
gets
that.
traded special.
Maybe we'll do something for that. All right, everybody. Thanks for rocking with us. Enjoy your summer.
Cheers.